Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Adrian. I'm gonna be going over some things that I'm gonna be doing on the car today. Specifically, we're gonna be swapping out the alternator. The one on this car has a seat bearing. It's down there. It's a B13 Nissan, 1991 Nissan Sentra with an SR20. As you can see, it's a turbo motor, so it's SR20DET. This process is very similar to the normally aspirated one. So what we're going to go into today is how to swap this out and how to get this bad boy out from down underneath there. A couple things we're going to do, or a couple tools you're going to need. It's just some not random, but common tools to these cars, which is, you're gonna need your 10, your 12, your 14 millimeter sockets and wrenches. And I think we also need a 19 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken, for the alternator on the bottom of the base. It's hard to see here, but later on, yeah, it's down there. Later on, we'll get some up close and personal with it and show you guys how that all works out. First thing I'm gonna do is jack up the car on the passenger side. Make sure you use a jack stand for your safety, obviously. But let me do that first. Oh yeah, by the way too, you wanna disconnect the battery. I don't have a battery here. My battery is actually relocated to the trunk. And because it's relocated to the trunk, I have already disconnected it. But make sure you disconnect the battery, then jack up the car. Either which way, but battery is disconnected. Now I'm gonna jack up the car. After the car's jacked up, we'll go into loosening this right here. And then there's another bolt down here that holds it together. And then shouldn't be too hard. I think we're gonna have a little bit of clearance issues pulling it out. But we'll see. I mean, I still have the AC compressor down there, as you can see. There you go, you can see it there. But we'll figure a way to take this thing out. Either we take the compressor off, or we take the water hose out and take it from the top. But let's see how we get this done. So car's jacked up now and on the jack stand. First thing you want to do with your 12 millimeter, you want to get access to this bolt down here. If I can get a focus, come on. There you go. This one right here. You're gonna loosen that one, which is the one that holds the tensioner bolt to the bracket. And then on the top here, you're gonna loosen this up and it's gonna effectively give you play. After that, there's a bolt down there, and we'll get down there and I'll show you guys how to loosen that one. It's a 19. Shouldn't be too much. I'll grab a flashlight so you guys can see it. But yeah, you just loosen these two and then go from there. I won't do this on video because can't do everything with one hand, but yeah, loosen that one, break it loose, and then the one up here, come on dude, there you go. Down right there, you can loosen that one too. So I'll do that off camera, and then I'll show you guys an update here short. All right guys, brought out the flashlight. You can see there, I took that locking screw off, and then the tensioner, I loosened it, and it's now been released. Next thing to do is there's I believe a 19 millimeter. Let me see if I can zoom in down there. I'll go underneath the car here so you guys can see how that all works out. You need to do it with a wrench. So let me get underneath the car, show you guys how that works. So now we're underneath the car. It's a little dirty down here. I might probably have to pressure wash it later. But as you can see, I have my AC compressor here. But what we're gonna do, there's a 19 millimeter bolt right there, actually a nut. So we're gonna loosen that one right there. Loosen it up, it's gonna loosen the bottom of the alternator up, and that'll let us remove it. I don't know yet if I'm gonna go towards the top or the bottom because I have the compressor here. But I think last time I did it from the top. It's been a while. But yeah, let's see what we end up doing here. All right guys, a little bit of correction there. I removed the bolt or the nut from the bottom. It's actually a 17 millimeter. My memory was failing me. Either that or it could be 17 or 19. But in this case, mine's a 17, broke it loose. And now what should be is that the alternator is loose, as you can see. So now it has some play and you should be able to pull it out. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna figure out, oh, actually there's a 10 right there you gotta remove, which is a battery cable. And then there's another 10 or 8 millimeter for the ground. And you can see it here on the bottom. But let me release those first and then we'll go over removing this thing from here. Okay guys, so I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update here. The harness part on the power wire, that one's been disconnected. That one's a 10. The ground on the bottom, you can see it if I can focus. Come on, there you go. Down there, there's a ground wire that goes directly to the alternator from the alternator harness. That one is an 8 millimeter. In this case, it was a little tough to remove for me because I got big ass hands, and it's a tight space, man. So just take your time. I took my time. I got it out. You can see there the place where the bolt is supposed to be. I removed it. The next one is there's a clip-in harness that's it's a little hard to see. Let me see if I can do it with. See if I can hold the flashlight somehow here. Come on. Give me 1 second. All right, so this will give us probably a better view. But the harness is right here. It's a clip-in harness. You're gonna press in there and then remove it, pull it out. On the alternator here, my junkyard one that we rescued, it's this little plug here in the black. And basically you squeeze, pull it out. But I'm gonna do that next. Make sure you remove the belt. You can see my belt it's still here, but it's loose, very loose. So dark cable's in the way here. But it's already been taken off. And then you just want to take this down from the bottom and pull it out. But I'm gonna do that next. All right guys, so here, let me see if I can zoom in. You can see the clip harness that I was talking about. You just gotta squeeze that and pull it out. Give it a good couple tugs, it'll pull out. Make sure you pull it from the connector, not from the wire. Another little update, this is the alternator bolt that goes on the back that holds the alternator to the bracket that's mounted to the engine. Again, this is a 17 millimeter in my case. I've seen it at 19 sometimes, but I pulled it out. It's on the back. It's kind of hard to put your hands in there, but you go from here this way, pull it out, and now my alternator's free. The harness is almost released. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna unbolt the AC compressor, pull it out a little bit so I have room. I mean, this line it's connected, but there's no refrigerant in it. So I'm gonna pull it out to make room and pull this thing from the bottom. So I'll do that next. Thing to note here, I've lost a bunch of these, not a bunch, but maybe 2 or 3 in my lifetime, just going down the road with stiffer mounts. So I'm gonna put some Loctite on this thing as we put it back on, just to secure it in place. All right guys, so a little update. I unbolted the compressor from the motor, and then I pulled out the alternator. Well, this is the new one, or new to me, I should say. Old one is bad. The bearing on this one, actually now it works. Interesting. So not sealed anymore, or seized, I should say rather. But this one, I'm not going to be using it anymore. When I took it off, I did find out that this bolt right here is stripped. You can see. So what ends up happening is that you tighten it down and then it's loose. So you never really get the right tension. And then the belt just squeals and squeals. So probably gonna take this one to get rebuilt and have it as a spare and get that thread fixed. But anyways, we got this one that's new to us. From a good buddy. So we're gonna put this in from the bottom, bolt it up. Again, that bolt on the back. I'm gonna put a little bit of thread locker on that nut. So when it's in the car, it sits like this. This is the bottom, this is the top where you adjust. And then battery cable for an alternator harness connector, and then your ground over here. So 10 millimeter, this one you pinch it, and this is an 8 millimeter. So let me get this going. Obviously I won't be able to do this on camera because I need to use both hands, but we'll put this together here and then go from there. I'll put it together. Okay guys, I'm gonna install the alternator now, and I wanted to show you what I was talking about regarding the compressor. So yeah, it's hanging right now. My system isn't charged, so I don't really care. I'm gonna replace this line anyways, but when you do this, you wanna hold up the alternator and not let it hang. Sorry, the compressor, and not let it hang off that hose. But basically, you can see up there, kind of in that area, that's where the alternator goes. We're gonna mount it up, and then we're gonna slide the bolt in through there, and then hand tighten it and put a little bit of a Loctite there. So let me do that, and then once it's there, I'll show you guys some other tips and tricks for this compressor that I do. All right guys, so the alternator has been mounted up. I just wanted to show you guys what I was talking about. Specifically when you have the solid mounts like I do, there's a lot of vibrations. So what I did is, you can see there the little blue. I added some drops, like 1 or 2 drops of Loctite to prevent it from rattling undone. But it's in the compressor on the bottom. It's hanging right now. I know it's bad for the hose, but my system isn't charged, and we're gonna replace that line anyways. But I just wanted to show you guys a little trick to helping you guys out. Don't overdo it, just a few drops, 1 or 2. Come on, if I can get this to focus. There you go, down there, and that'll help you make sure you don't lose that nut. All right guys, so here's a little trick that I read on the forums back in the day that I'm gonna share with you guys, and it's basically use a couple washers. I super glue mine together, and effectively you put this in between the AC compressor and the bracket, and it pushes the AC compressor out. And what ends up happening is that this hose gives it a little bit of clearance from the exhaust manifold. But I'll put those in so you can see what I'm talking about after, and that way you guys can get an idea of what it does for turbo guys with AC. So I wanted to show you guys what I was talking about with the washers earlier. But basically, you put you can see them there shiny, in between the AC compressor bracket and the AC compressor. I just put a couple washers, both on the bottom and on the top. You can't see the top ones, but you get the idea. It's just to space out the compressor, maybe like 1/2 inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch. I'm not sure exactly how much it spaces it out, but what it does is that, let me go back up, it spaces it out just enough to where you get a little bit of clearance from the from this hose on the compressor to the exhaust manifold. Obviously here mine's tweaked, but you get the idea. Just to space it out and give you a little bit of space so you don't burn that hose. Mine, you can't see it there, but it's not where it's supposed to be. It goes like that once it's tightened down over there, but mine's loose. But just to give you guys an idea, a quick little tip. So the new to me alternator is installed. Put everything back together. Tighten up the bolts here, tension bolts, put the belt back on. That's pretty much it, guys. So next thing is just to fire it up, try it out, and then go from there. So let me do that, and then I'll go back on here. So I had to jump it to get it going. But we're running. Not squealing anymore. Tension is nice and tight, and we should be good to go. Let's see what it reads. The car's dirty. The battery light is gone, and we're at 14.6 volts. So good alternator. That should be the end of this video. Talk to you guys later, man.